Leaf fans, Mark Fera with the Blue Line Official. Today I'm honored to be wearing my 1984 Borje Salming game-worn, absolutely hammered and smashed jersey, just like he'd beat up his opponents in the corner. Along with this 1973 rookie season game-used stick. Want to talk a little bit about Borje? Let's do this. Often referred to as the King, Borje was never drafted in the National Hockey League. In 1973, then General Manager Jerry McNamara happened to be over in Sweden looking at one of Borje's great friends and future teammates, Inge Hammarström. When they noticed the skill set of the young Salming, it was reported back to the Toronto Maple Leafs, who immediately signed him to a contract. And yet, Borje would go on to play the next 16 seasons in the blue and white and play 1,099 games from 1973 right straight through to 1989, setting several team records like most career goals as a defenseman, most career points as a defenseman, and most career assists by anybody in team history. In fact, in 2017, when the team celebrated its 100th anniversary, Borje was named the 8th best player of all time. Some actually think that might be a little low. But Borje, not only being one of the very first Europeans to play in the National Hockey League, he was in fact the very first to play 1,000 games and the very first to be inducted in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Well, back in the early 70s, there was a reputation with Swedish players as being known as chicken Swedes, not tough enough. Well, in the 1976 season, the Broad Street Bullies would try to come in and intimidate, determining to push Borje around and show him who was boss. He stood up, blocking shots, punching back, pushing back, defending and scoring, and doing everything that Borje would become accustomed to down the road, and changed that reputation forever. He was known as one of the very toughest to play in the National Hockey League, and we go back to 1986 when Gerard Gallant of the Detroit Red Wings lost his step and Borje took a skate square in the face, requiring over 200 stitches and severe cosmetic surgery. He would bounce back and become the Borje that everybody would know. You know, what really is interesting is that Borje was so popular in Toronto that in that 1976 season, during the Canada Cup, the Team Sweden was playing against Team USA during that Canada Cup, and Borje would receive the loudest standing ovation by anybody in the tournament in front of his hometown fans, the Team Canada fans at Maple Leaf Gardens. It's unbelievable to think about how much he was loved by his fans in Toronto, and he will always have a mainstay. But other things that they often talk about with Borje was his metabolism. Rumor has it that he would take the subway down to games, get off a couple of stops early, hit the local McDonald's, crush a couple of Big Macs, and go out and be, well, the first star of the game. And if you ever saw pictures of Borje, man, he was like literally a fitness guru without even necessarily having to be a fitness guru. I mean, that guy created the six-pack. And it's, you know, it's so many stories going around, and I've heard from some of his former team representatives, players, about how he really liked to enjoy life. But, you know, Borje apparently would have been great at anything that he desired to do. If he wanted to be a professional tennis player, he would have been great at that as well. The guy just had a natural athletic ability to do anything he wanted. I've often heard one story when the team landed in Vancouver one evening, the night before a game, and they would very often hit a local establishment back then and stay up rather late that night, go to bed, get up early for their morning skate, and then go back for their late morning, early afternoon nap. Well, instead of having that afternoon nap, Borje decided that they were going skiing and would spend the entire afternoon in BC going down the slopes, going right before a game, heading over to the game, and well, again, he would become the first star of that game. Many of his teammates were just flabbergasted with this guy's athletic ability, and he just did it time and time again. Well, I've had a couple of very personal moments where Borje became a super fan in my heart, no bigger than in 1988, January 4th, against the St. Louis Blues, when I was lucky enough to attend his 1,000th game, well, the 1,000th game celebration. And in fact, Harold Ballard did know. Anybody who remembers Harold Ballard knows he did no big celebrations, no big on-ice presentations, nothing. But Gord Stellick, the then general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, had convinced him to do a special celebration to honor Borje's 1,000th game, and actually convinced Harold Ballard to buy him a truck. And Ballard at first was all for it until he realized he'd be the one paying for the truck. It took Gord Stellick a little extra time to convince him to do that. But I was at that game. I got to watch the brand new Chevy Blazer, which was a hot truck back in the day, drive out on the ice. And how amazing was it to see Borje's family step out of there from Sweden, as well as his longtime friend and that teammate that helped helped him get recognized in Inge Hammerstrom. Recently, we've heard the sad news of Borje being diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, and it's absolutely crushed us as Leaf fans. Borje, you have brought us memories that we will never forget in a lifetime, and we stand behind you during your tough times in your battle. And we know you will get through this because you're the toughest guy we know. You came over to Toronto, you represented us like any player we've ever dreamed of, often referred to the best player in the National Hockey League as a defenseman, not named Bobby Orr. We love you, we stand behind you, and we can't wait to hear nothing but great news about you. And you have grabbed our hearts and held on to it as a team favorite, and we are very thankful to have you. Thanks for being our favorite, and we stand behind you during this tough time. For the Blue Line, I'm Mark Fera. Please follow us on all socials, and have a great day.